Now, this time yesterday, we brought you news that Uber had been successful in its legal fight to keep its licence to operate in London. It's one of the most important markets for the ride-hailing app outside of its home market in the United States. Well, joining me now is Uber's Regional General Manager for the UK and North and Eastern Europe, Jamie Hayward. Jamie, welcome to you. Your licence has been extended for a further 18 months. Of course, the maximum possible was 5 years. You're a bit short of that.
Yes, I mean, we're very pleased with the decision that we're fit and proper and able to continue operating in London. We think it's a recognition of our commitment to safety and the improvements we've made as a company. As you say, the license duration was 18 months. I think it's important to note that over the last few years, TfL has gradually shrunk the license periods, particularly for app-based operators. So actually recent grants have been as low as 15 months for app-based operators, and as far as I know, there's no app-based operator that has more than 2 years. So 18 months is, we think, a very good result.
That suits you fine. I mean, it's pretty bureaucratic, though, having to go through this process every 15 or 18 months, isn't it?
I think it's very important that, TfL continues to exercise sort of tight scrutiny on all of the operators. I think that's what Londoners would expect. So I think, it's certainly quite a lot of work on our side, but that's work we're willing to put in, and I'm sure the other operators would say the same.
Now, you're subject to 21 separate conditions on your licence. You've got to provide independent reports on these to Transport for London. How much of a cost burden is that going to be for you?
So actually, the 21 conditions are conditions that we jointly agreed with TfL without prejudice prior to the decision. They reflect the way that we operate today. So they include things like, as you say, an independent assurance report where third parties come in and assess our regulatory controls. They include the obligation to work very closely with the Metropolitan Police. They include a 48-hour notification process where any safety-related complaint we have to notify to TfL. These, for me, are basic minimum standards that we're very, very happy to comply with, and we do already, but actually I think should apply across the industry.
Now, TfL's main concern is obviously this issue of driver identity fraud and how it's potentially undermining safety. Have you nailed this issue now?
Yes, I mean, as you say, back in November 19, when TfL didn't grant us a licence, the core issue that they cited was the fact that 44 drivers had been able to exchange photographs with each other, and unlicensed drivers had taken trips. Now, we sort of identified that, reported it to TfL and fixed it. But since then, since that decision, we've worked with TfL and other third parties to make sure that the mistakes we've made then cannot reoccur. So most specifically, we've had KPMG and PA Consulting, two independent auditors, come in and assess the controls we have in place, and both of them found our controls to be sort of robust and very, very unlikely that such an issue can't happen again. And then in addition to that, what we've done is...
You're 100% confident of that, Jamie?
I am. I mean, if you actually read the judgment, you can see both KPMG and PA Consulting, who are experts in this field, found that the controls were robust. And on top of that, I mean, that's just addressing TfL's concern. We've also proactively taken a number of steps which we believe are unique in the UK for improving rider and driver safety. So specifically, this year we've introduced hybrid real-time identification, which means that drivers now take a photo of themselves, a selfie, and we use that to validate that they are who they say they are. And more recently, we've used that same selfie to validate that they're wearing masks. So that's a way that we can uniquely enforce our no mask, no ride policy to make sure that we get London moving safely.
All right, Jamie Hayward from Uber. Very good to talk to you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much, Ian.